So you've been working really hard, or you've been saving money for a long time, or you just happen to have a bunch of money that you want to spend, you want to invest, and you've spoken to a few friends and they've told you about Airbnb, and or you visited Miami and you really love Miami. As a real estate agent in Miami working for Compass, I get calls probably once a week for people that either live here or don't live here. They're out of town or they visited Miami and they want to buy an Airbnb. And there are really good things about doing that, and there's some really bad things about it. And one of the things is if you don't do it properly, you can lose. If you're a first time offender, you're going to get fined $1,000 a day. And if you're a repeat offender, you're going to get fined $5,000 per day per Airbnb that you have. So my whole point is it's pretty complicated in Miami. And I'm going to share with you the best practices on doing that. Then I'm going to share with you a link in the description of the video. And I'm going to scroll to that for a second so you can see all the rules and regulations for Airbnb. Because a lot of times when we look on Airbnb or VRBO or Verbo, whatever you want to call it, and we see properties in a certain area, we would assume that those properties you can purchase and you can do an Airbnb on or VRBO. But the problem is you can't. And I'm going to share with you first best practices on finding an Airbnb and the process about that. And then the second thing, I'm going to share with you some do's and don'ts. And hopefully this helps you because the last thing I want you to do, because I'm a Miami native and I love Miami, I don't want you to buy a property here and hate our area because you didn't know about a technicality about purchasing an Airbnb in South Florida. So the first thing you need to do is if you're not paying cash, you need to go to your lender and find out what you qualify for because it's different than purchasing a home. When someone purchases a home, whether it's a single family, a condo, or a townhouse, if it's for you and it's your primary residence or your homesteaded property, you can put a smaller down payment most of the time. If you've been in the military, you could do a VA loan, which is 0% financing, 0%, zero down payment. So you can get not 0% financing, but 0% down payment. Or if you're doing a single family home or a property that qualifies for FHA, you can do 3.5%. But typically for an investment property, it's going to be higher than that. So the first thing you want to do is get qualified with a lender. I would recommend going to your bank and finding out, or reaching out to me or anyone else, a friend, family member that happens to know a good lender. Step number two, once you figure out what you qualify for, think of some areas that you would like to buy an Airbnb. Just think about areas that, a lot of times when we think about places that we like, well, we also want to make sure two things. One is that properties in that area are actually going up in value because you want this to be a short-term investment and a long-term investment if you sell it in the future. So figure out how many properties sell on the market in that area. You can go to Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, or call a real estate agent, whichever way they all work. Once you find out the turnover, you can get an idea of the value of the properties. Are they going up? Are they going down? Do a lot of trade? So once you figure that out, the next step you would do is you would go onto the Airbnb site or the Verbo site, and you would check and see what properties are renting for nightly then. And you can get an idea for the market there. And I have a great resource. If you guys feel like you want to contact me because you need some advice and you really want to maximize your investment, I know someone that is extremely, extremely talented when it comes to short-term rentals. He has a management company, and if you give me the area and or the address, he can figure out basically what you should net per day, what the vacancy rates would be, and sort of what your yearly income would be, and then we can figure out the return on investment. It sounds pretty complicated, but we could make it easy. Or if you have a friend or family member, I'm sure they could do the same thing for you. Okay, so let's go back a step. So first thing, you find out what you qualify for. If you're paying cash, obviously you see how much you have to invest. Number two, you find out the area that you like, but you also, besides the area, think of things logically. So besides if that area is an area you like, think about how close is the grocery store. If people wanted to go to like a restaurant or they wanted to go shopping, what is what is it like to live in that area short term if you're on vacation? So that's one thing. Another thing, like I mentioned, is find out how often properties sell in that area and find out what the properties are trending up in value. Next thing, like I said, go on Airbnb or VRBO and find out what things are actually renting for nightly there and different times of the year. And like I said, find out someone that knows an idea of like the vacancy rates and the amount of money that you should get by the end of the year. The next step is this: drive by those areas. A lot of times we get people that are looking for properties and they don't live in the state. They're out of either out of the country, they're not local, they're out of state, or just not living in South Florida. So you can do a couple things. One thing is you can go obviously on Google Earth, you could look around, and I would actually scroll not just at that home. I would go deeper and wider. I would look around that area. I would go maybe a couple of miles out and just try and get a sense of that area and try and use the street view as well. Pretend like you're walking. Or if you have a friend or family member or real estate agent that can actually drive by that area and FaceTime you, or drive by a particular property, FaceTime you the property, that would be the next step to do. And then once you find that, the next thing is negotiation. You know, we're in a tough market now for a buyer because it's super busy, inventory is low. But if you're looking at this, hopefully you look at this as a long-term investment, not a short-term investment. Because if you're going to do a short-term Airbnb investment, I would probably, tell you not to, because there's so many different variables that can happen where I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, so next thing, like I said, is negotiation. One of the things that our team has, and again, this isn't a pitch, this is just trying to get you to learn more about Airbnbs and short-term rentals in South Florida. But one of the things that's helped us quite a bit is we have artificial intelligence when we negotiate with sellers, and when we have sellers and we're negotiating with buyers, obviously we use that same artificial intelligence for negotiation. So it will tell us based on that person's profile. It digs deep, really deep on that person, whether it's the seller or the buyer, and it'll tell us within minutes of what words to use with negotiation, how to best negotiate with that person. Make it short, make it long, use these words, don't use these words. It's like we have like the best negotiator in the world helping us on this, and it helps us quite a bit. So if you're gonna buy a property, try and reach out to someone that can negotiate well, that can teach you, and so it'll definitely help your return on investment in the future. Last thing I would say with this process, besides the negotiation, is make sure you find a great inspection company, because a lot of times these properties look really good because they're a lot of times they're investors, and they flip them, they fix them up really quickly and they flip them. But you got to make sure that the integrity of the property is really strong, because it's like it's not going to be like you driving your car every day. Your place is going to be like someone renting a car at Hertz or Avis and them driving that car. They're going to beat it up a bit, and you want to make sure that the house is sound, the house, condo, townhouse is sound. So those are the basic steps. And if you want me to get more into detail with it, you could either contact me or you can just message, leave a comment, and I'll do a more thorough video on it. But those are the basic things. So let me tell you the don'ts about investing in an Airbnb in Miami or Miami Beach. keep in mind the Airbnbs in our area are significantly different than other areas. It's totally different. In Florida, our biggest industry is tourism. So having such a strong industry where Florida gets the most money from that, the hotel industry is very, very powerful. And they're constantly trying to get rid of short-term rentals in our area. So especially with condos, because condos are closer to hotels, and that's really making it harder to do it for Airbnb. So what I would suggest is this. First of all, you need to speak to an expert that knows about this. And I'm going to also share links about the some of the do's and don'ts when you invest in short-term rentals. Actually, I'm going to share my screen right now, and hopefully you can see what I'm going to share with you in a bit. So share my screen. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen and you see this is miami-dade.gov, short-term vacation rentals, and it's pretty long. And there's also one that Airbnb has as well. And so my only point when I bring this up, and I'll share the links for both sites, is that when you do this, it's not as simple as it is if you happen to do it in another state or another area. The last thing I want you to do is get fined 1,000 a day or 5,000 a day, because you're gonna they and believe me, Miami-Dade County will fine you. For sure, they'll fine you. There are a lot of people that do Airbnbs in South Florida, so don't this is like number two, do not check Airbnb or VRBO and look for areas that are, people are Airbnb, and believe that those areas are good. A lot of people, unfortunately, in South Florida do illegal short-term rentals. So make sure you really know what you're doing. And I mean, again, like I said, I'll post the links if you need more detailed help. Me or someone on my team will be happy to help you. Okay, so first thing, make sure that you're aware of everything. The next thing I was going to say is if it's a condo, you want to be super careful about it, because in my opinion, I'd rather be conservative. My job isn't to sell you guys homes, it's to provide you knowledge. And the last thing I want you to do is have high hopes of doing an Airbnb that you're allowed to today, and then things change in a year or two, and then all of a sudden your great long-term investment gets crushed. So make sure that if you're going to do an Airbnb, I would do my best to not make it a condo. If you make it a condo, and I'll share with you a few that are out there that I really like that you can do. But even for those, I always get worried about like the hotel industry getting more power, or they know they're in good with a politician in the future, and then they just make short-term rentals much more difficult, or there's a huge tax, or there's something that just kills the return on investment. So I'd highly, highly, highly recommend not doing it on a condo. Like I said, I'll share with you some that you can do it on. And I'm sure if you see a lot of these other videos, they'll tell you these condos that you can do it on. But I would highly recommend it against it. Highly recommend not doing a condo. I would more, it would be much better if you bought an investment property, as long as the numbers make sense, on a single family home or a townhouse. Family home first, because townhomes sometimes they have rules and regulations with their association, so those are sometimes difficult to do. Single family homes are much easier to do. So I would highly recommend doing a single family home. Okay, so the last part of the video, because I know this is sort of long and I don't want to make it too long. And if you like this and you want to hear more about this, just message me, DM me, or write a comment below, and I'll be happy to get into more detail. But so there are three condos that have Airbnbs that are in South Florida and other parts of the country that our team has sold in, and that you can do if you wanted to do them. And the good thing is the prices are pretty inexpensive. So the first one is Yotel Pad. Jade on our team sold 3 units in Yotel Pad. She has multiple other customers looking in there. And so Yotel Pad it's in Miami. It's not in Miami Beach. It's in a great area. And if you want more information, just DM us and we'll give you more info. The good and bad about Yotel Pad, and just we'll tell you the good and bad about the other two that I'm gonna recommend and tell you about as well. Number two, Airbnb condo investment would be it's Quadro. Quadro is another property. It's in Miami, and it's condo. So Quadro is all of these places that I'm mentioning are going to have nice amenities. They have good walkability. They're close to nice shops, restaurants, and transportation. So all of those places are really good. The last one is Nativo. Nativo originally was branded as an Airbnb hotel, but I think they had some issues with the developer. I'm not saying any side is right or wrong, but they had to rebrand it to Nativo. It used to be Nativo by, I guess, powered by Airbnb, and it no longer is. I actually did a video prior to them changing that. So if you want to see that video, I'll put a link to it in the description as well. So Nativo is really good as well. They have a lot of amenities. They have some commercial stuff within the building. Then they have residential, and then they have a condo component, like a hotel component. Sorry, a hotel component. Then they have like the three components are commercial, condo, like just people living there, and then the hotel part where they're renting them out. And so those are three places that you can invest into. And if you have any other questions about doing a short-term rental in Miami, just reach out to me. It is super difficult. There's so many different rules and regulations, and things are always changing in this area. But I know so many clients and friends that are doing this and they're killing it. It's their side hustle has become their primary hustle. So you can still do it really well, but you just have to be knowledgeable about what to do and what not to do. All the best, guys. Thanks so much for watching.